Welcome to our Network Marketing Pro community Facebook page. I have a very special guest on today. But before I introduce him as you're coming on, do me a favor and let me know where you're connecting from. We've promoted this through the entire week, so I'm looking forward to seeing where everybody is connecting from. It should be from all over the world. And so do that, number one. That's your first assignment, is to let us know from the UK. Where else are we connecting from? Here we go. South Dakota, Portugal, North Carolina, Merhaba, Minnesota, Norway, Estonia. Hey, Fraser, how you doing, buddy? Phoenix, UK, Romania, Vienna, Canada, all over the place. California, Ghana, South Africa, Cape Town, Romania, St. Andrews, New Brunswick, Canada. Awesome. As you get on, we got 326 viewers already and growing. We want to see if we can break the internet. If you appreciate this person as much as I do, if you love this person as much as I do, you'll share this with everybody that you know. And if you're not ready to share right away, you can share in a moment once you start getting some value from this guy, because he is the man. Let me give you some rules, okay? Let me give you some kind of terms of how we're going to do this hour of power, our Sunday sermon, our Super Soul Sunday with this gentleman. He's going to be bringing some heat in a moment. I'm excited to hear what he's going to say. We're going to get serious about it. But if you love this gentleman, Mr. Les Brown, I want you to give the heart emoji and go crazy with it every time. Fraser Brooks taught me this. Every time you love what you're hearing, I want you to go crazy on that heart emoji. Every time you hear him laugh, I want you to put the laughing emoji, the laughing out loud emoji. Every time you're laughing, I want you to hit that laughing emoji. I want you to go crazy with this, okay? So we should have 1,000 people on pretty quick here, and then we'll start. We're 3 minutes after. It's growing. We have 1,000 yet? There's a little bit of delay with this. 472 comments already. Let's see if we can break the internet when it comes to comments, when it comes to value. And you know what I'm going to do? This guy, he's coming on. I'm going to have him come on in literally 2 minutes. He is a living legend. I'm going to pick a few of you and let you ask him a question directly. Let you ask the one and only Mr. Les Brown a question directly. So I've been connected and following this gentleman for, wow. It's 25 years, 30 years, something like that, which makes me old. He's probably about the same age as me, something like that. He looks younger because I've got gray hair and he doesn't. But all right, we're going to start. You ready? Mr. Les Brown, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, here he is. The one and only, drum roll please, Mr. Les Brown. He's connecting to us from Ohio. He lives in Florida. Before Pitbull, he was the original Mr. Worldwide. He is a man of extreme diverse talents. He's been a radio DJ. He's been a congressman, yes?
State legislator.
State legislator. You've been a network television talk show host. You've spoken on the biggest stages in the world. You've inspired millions of people, and you are here today ready to bring your wisdom and humor and fun. And let me start by saying this. First of all, thank you for taking the time to be here. I know our audience is very excited to see you. We already have 753 comments, about 1,000 viewers, and it's going to grow from here. And again, if you're liking this, I want to see some hearts. I want to see some laughing emojis. And I want, for more than anything else, if you care about somebody else, you want them to be inspired today, share this with them and let the one and only Les Brown inspire you. So as people are getting connected, Les, I want to ask you a couple questions.
Yes.
What's one of your favorite movies?
One of my favorite movies is Forrest Gump.
Ah.
And there's a line in there that I love. I use every day because it applies to life. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I can tell you, at 74, it truly is. I'm telling you, it's humbling. Life would throw so many things at you. You say, please lighten up. Give a brother a break.
All right. What's your guilty pleasure when it comes to eating?
Sweet potato pie. I love sweet potato pie. My mother used to bake a sweet potato pie so good, you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. Had to take your shoes off so you can wiggle your toes.
What's one of your what's one of the coolest celebrities that you've ever met?
Denzel Washington. I went to see him in a movie, in a play in New York, and talking with him backstage. He was a guy that he was not full of himself. He was very embracing, very warm, very thoughtful. He's a very intelligent guy. I really enjoyed meeting him. It was a very impactful meeting that I had.
Do you love any sports?
Yes. Well, I don't watch sports as I used to, and I used to watch sports a lot. Now, let me tell you how long it's been since I've seen a complete football game. It was Johnny Unitas.
Wow.
And let me tell you why I don't. Because of a friend of mine named Steve Skilkin. I was living in Columbus, Ohio, and I called Steve on a Sunday. I said, come over, let's watch the game. Now, Steve lives in Bexley, and a very wealthy area, in a mansion. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was literally like a doghouse because it did not have a back door. And I said, Steve, I said, come over, let's watch the football game today and watch the Baltimore, the Colts. And he said, I can't. And I said, why? He said, I'm at the office working. I said, at the office working? I said, hey, you're the boss. You don't have to do that. You can have somebody else do it. He said, I'm working on earning my own million. Now, Steve's father, Joseph Skilkin, had left him and his sister, Lynn, over $300 million. His father used to build shopping malls in Canada and the United States. Here I was about to watch a football game, living in a doghouse, 2 bedrooms, no back door. And when I hung the phone up, and as I looked at my kids, I said, I'll never spend time watching people living their dream until I earn my first million. And after that, it took me 3 years to earn my first million. And that was a turning point for me, because how you spend your time, most people are fans. Steve was a player. Even though he inherited $300 million, he wanted to earn $1 million outright himself. So I didn't have $300 million to use to earn my first million, but I did have my voice and my story and initiative and my hunger to want to create wealth. And that hunger is what drove me to come to where I am right now and to take me higher. I feel that I haven't done my best work yet. I still got some more juice. I can still bring it.
Yeah, I know you can. I know you can. Before I want to get into your story in a second, tell me a book that impacted your life in a positive way. Any book.
A book, yes. Oh, no, I can tell you right off the top. A book by Robert Collier. It's called Secret of the Ages. And I bought that book because one man read that book, and I read about it in the newspaper, and he bought over 1 million copies, and he sent them out to everybody that he knew. And so I read that book, and the other one's called As a Man Thinketh, So Is He by James Allen. Those two books had a tremendous impact on my life.
I love that. Well, there's some people that have been living under a rock that don't know your story. I was inspired by it. I'm inspired by it every time I hear it. I'd love if you could share your story of just what created, what were the early turning points for you in your life? I think that would be a good lesson for people that are connecting here. And as you're listening, if you're getting value, please throw the emojis in there. That'll help more people see it. Please share this with other people. We're just going to be bringing straight value today. We want to inspire as many people as we possibly can today. So why don't you just share a little bit about your story and let people know where you came from.
Well, first of all, Eric, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I believe that the work that you and Marina are doing is changing people's lives, because you really literally are giving people the tools that they need to take charge of their financial future in a time where people are really, in most cases, are stressed out. And because of the Trump effect, there's a great deal of fear and uncertainty and confusion. And so just congratulations to you for creating this platform and giving people tools and inspiration that will allow them to build a business that will create non-performance income, residual income, and control their destiny. So congratulations to you and Marina for the work that you've been doing. And you volunteer to do this. They say a career is something you love so much you do it for nothing, and you do it so well that people will pay you to do it. So thank you. And thank you for your friendship. When I think about my life, I've been doing a lot of reflecting, because I'd had an experience, I don't know if you saw it, where a few weeks ago, I gave a presentation from a hospital bed. I was about to have a procedure at the Cleveland Clinic, and they said that I perhaps would lose my voice. And if people Google that, Les Brown speaking in the hospital, they'll see I was at a hospital gown, and I thought it was going to be my last speech. So I said, if this is the last time I'm going to speak, I'm going to talk tonight. But I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida, as many people know, in a building, an abandoned building, with a twin brother, Wesley. I just talked to my brother. He's a Vietnam veteran. He's just an incredible man, father and brother. And we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. I always say that I'm here because of two women. One gave me life. The other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And what has caused me to become the person that I am, I feel like Abraham Lincoln. He said, all that I am and all that I ever hoped to be, I owe to my mother. And my mother was a powerful woman. She was strong. I was telling some friends yesterday, when I stayed out late, my mother, she was married to a guy who was a judo instructor in the military. And so she could flip you. So I had to cover the house when I stayed out late. I had to cover my head first, because she'd go for the head. She hit you, and then she'd flip you. And I was always in trouble. I'm a twin. I would tell my twin brother, Wesley, do something, man. They think I'm crazy. He said, you are. But I had a transformative experience of someone just like you, who had a passion for helping kids and people. He was very inspirational. I eulogized him, Mr. Leroy Washington. I was put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. I was labeled educable mentally retarded, as you know. I failed again in the 8th grade at Booker T. Washington High School. I have no college education. But I went in this guy's class, and he said, young man, go to the board and work this problem out for me. He was the new instructor. I said, hey, sir, I'm not one of your students. I'm just here to see MacArthur Stevens. He said, go to the board and do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. And I said, I can't, sir. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's a twin. His brother's smart. He's DT. And he said, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And they erupted into laughter. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk, and he looked at me, and he said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And Eric, that was a special moment in my life, that when he spoke, how we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. When he spoke, he distracted me from my story. And this is what your platform does. that you distract people from their story, and through the execution of your presentation, you dismantle their current belief system. That's what we do as coaches and as speakers and as trainers. And we inspire people to make new choices with their lives. And so that has begun to impact me in a certain way. And I ran into a set of cassette tapes called Dare to Be Great by a guy named Glenn Turner. He was a bad boy. You remember Glenn Turner?
I do. I know Glenn.
Oh man, I'll give anything for those cassette tapes of Dare to Be Great. Can you hook a brother up?
I have his whole Life Power set.
No.
The whole thing, man.
Man,
the red suit tapes, the whole deal.
Oh, the red suit tape, man. He was phenomenal. He and Bill Bailey, who had Best Line Products, who was one of the mentors of Jim Rohn. That's when I first saw Jim Rohn, who talks about Mr. Schultz. But Bill Bailey was a bad boy too from Best Line Products. Multi-level marketing really impacted me, and it really gave me a chance to discover a part of myself that I did not know. And so you, as an icon in this area and as a resource, and helped thousands, literally millions of people around the world, you have absolutely no idea the impact you've had on people like myself and others, because you've given us a chance to use our tools and abilities to create residual income. And I just want to say thank you enough. We cannot say.
You don't need to thank me, man. I'm a product of you and Jim Rohn and Augmandino and Tony Robbins. And I got hooked on personal growth because of people like you. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people, and I'm not going to name any names, they had a lot of information, but they were kind of dry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It wasn't as fun. It was always 7 steps to this and 3 steps to that. And you put your wisdom into the story, and you told a story, and you took us on a journey. And I'll never forget back in the TPN days, when we had a television network back in the 90s, and Les Brown was part of it, coming to speak, and with Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and Dennis Waitley and Augmandino, and it was like summer camp for adults. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I remember, meeting you and Billy Preston. Remember?
Yeah. Oh,
remember? Yeah. Les came out. I'll tell everybody the story. So Les, we're gonna do some recording. So Les doesn't just show up. He shows up with Billy Preston. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
And Gladys Knight.
Like Midnight Train to Georgia. So Gladys Knight is hanging out in our studios, just hanging out. And Billy Preston is playing like, remember the song he wrote, It Is Possible?
It's possible. You remember that, man?
It's possible for me to reach my goal.
Oh, man. I misplaced that when I moved. I need a copy of that. I'd
have to ask Stuart or something. He might have it.
Yes.
But I remember, I'm pinching myself. There's like 50 people sitting in a little made up studio audience in our studio.
Yes.
We brought in this special organ for Billy Preston to play. We had to find this special organ to be able to play. Oh man. I mean, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no big deal. And Gladys Knight, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame also. And it's like, it was spooky, crazy.
Yeah.
So you're up there, doing motivation with music and doing all different kinds of stuff. And the big events that we did, you just come up and just slay the audience, just kill them. I mean, they couldn't breathe by the time they were done. They're laughing so hard, they're crying, they're going through every emotion possible. So anyway, I owe you a debt of gratitude because you made it fun. For a young kid like me, you made it fun. Jim Rohn was like my philosopher.
Yeah, he was a statesman. Yes, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one.
Yeah.
If you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want.
Right.
Don't make them like that anymore. Those were the icons.
That's what I'm saying. It's you, man. That's why I told everybody, come on, This guy's a living legend. You gotta listen to this gentleman because he's been doing it with everybody all the way back. I'm not going to say how far back.
Man, I've been doing this for over 49 years. I am 74.
What are we going to do to celebrate your 50th? We got to do something.
I would love to do that. I really should. Because it's a blessing to still be here, man. I'm a 27-year cancer conqueror. And so I'm glad.
When will it be 50? Do you know?
Yes, next year will be 50 years.
So in 2019?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do something about that.
Okay.
Let's collaborate a little bit together. And you talked about Bill Bailey. I will tell you a quick story about Bill Bailey. I got to know him through the TPN experience, mostly because of Jim Rohn.
Yes.
Jim was a super fan. And it's so weird to see one of your mentors being a super fan of somebody else because you think that all the wisdom sprung from them. But Jim had a whole bunch of conversations recorded and with Bill Bailey, all of his coaching conversations. Yeah.
Oh, man, I want that.
I had to give it back to him. He wouldn't let anybody else have it. But he asked me to make a copy for him so he could listen to it more easily.
Yeah.
And there was a time I thought I lost it. And there was the only time in my life I ever saw Jim Rohn mad.
Mm-hmm.
He got mad for a minute. He was like, young man, I suggest you find it.
Your buzz below.
Hold on one second. I got my granddaughter's going to be coming in here into the frame for a second.
Yeah, be the granddaddy. I'll talk to him until you come back. Okay, look at him. How are you? Who's the little one there? Oh, my. What's her name?
Hi, baby. Did you just wake up? This is Dan, my son-in-law. This is Elliot, my granddaughter.
What's happening, Elliot? Oh,
and my daughter Alex is over here. You haven't seen Alex in a minute. Remember, Les?
I was very.
How are you? How you doing?
Did you get figured out where you're going to go and stuff? All right, cool. All right. All right,
you guys take it easy.
So,
I'm here in Columbus, Ohio, with my grandchildren. I had 2 graduations to go to, and I tell you, I've got a class action suit going against the Catholic Church and the people who created the rhythm method. It doesn't work. I have 5 boys and 5 girls. The rhythm method does not work. 5 boys, 5 girls, and 50 grandchildren. I'm suing them, okay? Can you feel it up in here, up in here?
You didn't tell me this. I want to get into talking about network marketing because I think your wisdom about the network marketing space is really important today. If those of you who are watching this, you want to hear Les talk about network marketing. One, I want to see some emojis. Send some emojis down below. Likes, comments, shares, go crazy with it. 2, I want you to comment, what's your question to Les Brown? I'm going to pick some at random and throw those in. And 3, it's really good for you to take notes on what you're learning from Mr. Les Brown. There's already dozens of them that he shared in this first 24 minutes, but take notes in the comments. So people who are watching on replay will be able to learn from your experience of what you're getting out of this. You might see something that they don't see. So together we can kind of create some awesome notes. So Les, you had this defining moment that somebody else's opinion doesn't have to become your reality. And you move forward in your life. One of my favorite sayings, I talked about this. I had a big event that I did in Prague last week. I just got back 2 nights ago. And I said, if I had to pick one quality, one characteristic of a successful person as an entrepreneur, I can only pick one. I'll ask the audience, what do you think it would be? What do you think that one thing would be? And then I'll share it, and then I'll see if Les agrees with me.
Okay.
Some people think it's hard work. Some people think it's determination. Some people think it's skills. Some people think it's a positive mental attitude. And all those things are great. But if I had to pick one, it would be, ready?
Yes.
You have to be hungry. If you had to pick one thing, give me one characteristic in somebody else, is hunger, ambition, thirst for whatever reason. It might be for contribution, might be for themselves, whatever reason. Give me somebody who's hungry and they'll figure out the skills. Give me somebody who's hungry and they'll get their attitude right. Give me somebody who's hungry and they'll work hard. So hunger's this fountainhead that creates action when there wouldn't have been action. So Les, I know you have an opinion on this. At least, I don't know if it's the one thing for you.
I'm known for that.
I know.
Yes.
So talk about the importance of being hungry.
Hunger, and my book, in fact, it's interesting you mentioned that today because I'm completing it today. It's been 22 years coming. Hunger releases the God force in you. Hunger, it takes you to a place within yourself that you don't know when you are operating within your comfort zone. But when you reach outside of your comfort zone, when you stretch yourself and challenge yourself, because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. Hunger will inspire you to make a way out of no way. Hunger, even when life knocks you down. I often say, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you could look up, you could get up. Hunger will help you get back up again. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here, up in here. I love it. And so that is as Dexter Yeager would say, when the dream is big enough, the odds don't matter, because hunger don't care about odds. Hunger will come back again and again and again. Hunger knows that you will fail your way to success. Hunger reminds you, always strive to get on top in life, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Hunger empowers you to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Oh, did somebody say hunger? Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. I'm sorry. I better keep you wear it off right now. Oh, behave, whatever. It's that hunger. It will do that to you.
All right. Remember, you promised every time you laugh, every time he laughed, you're going to give some heart emojis. All right. Here's what I want to do, Les. I just decided to do this in the last 10 seconds, and I'm doing it at my own peril.
Yeah.
But I saw you did a Facebook Live with your son where you traded quotes, like inspirational quotes back and forth, and you crushed the poor kid. I mean, he tried hard.
John Leslie, he could do it. He's got me. Yeah, we did another one and he got me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so he got me.
I wouldn't want to compete with him.
Yeah.
Here's what I want everybody to do that's watching. What I want everybody to do that's watching is I want you to put while we're doing this, I want you to put your favorite quotes into the comments below. Let's create a list, a collection of wisdom, ideas, because some people call these, it's just that's a cute saying, but these cute little sayings changed my life. These cute little sayings created a groove in my head that helped me through some difficulty. I'll give you one of them. I mean, one of the early ones I got from Jim Rohn was, for things to change, Eric, you have to change. And for things to get better, you've got to get better. Success isn't out there. Success is in here.
Yes, let me give you one of my favorite ones.
Go.
Your life is either a warning or it's an example. It's a warning of what not to do or an example of what to do. Jim was a bad boy.
He had a lot of them. One I got from a guy, his name is Johnny Daniel. I heard him say it, first time I ever heard it, is he said, you can tell the size of the man by the size of the problem it takes to get him down. And I went, wow, I'm letting little tiny things knock me off my game. Yeah. If I'm going to pretend to be a bigger man than this, I gotta I got to raise my standards as far as what I let bother me.
Yes.
That helped me through a lot of challenges.
Right. That's another way of saying adversity introduces a man to himself.
Mm.
And one of my favorite is, in life, you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges.
I love that. Here's another one I like down that road. The size of the problem is the size of the paycheck. The size of the problem that you can solve for the world, for other people, is the size of the paycheck that you're going to be able to earn over time. So get better at solving bigger problems and you'll get a bigger paycheck.
I like what Earl Nightingale said, that you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are.
And Jim Rohn talked about life doesn't respond to need. It doesn't matter if you need a lot. Life doesn't respond to need. Life responds to deserve.
Yes,
if
indeed.
You deserve it, you'll have it.
I like Dr. Carter G. Woodson. If you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. Oh, behave.
Come on. I can't compete in this game.
Come on, you're doing good. You're doing good.
There was a down that same road, there was a book called Aspire, and it had a collection of words that had incredible meanings. And one of those words was the word Genshai, Genshai. And the meaning of that word is to never act in a way that makes another person feel small. And that started, the person told me, with you. Never treat yourself in a way that makes you small. That had a big impact on me because I do that to myself all the time. And it's also a good guard. Are you acting in a way that's superior, that is intended to make another person feel small for whatever reason? That's a bad idea.
Yes, you can tell a lot about a person's character based upon how they treat people who they believe is insignificant.
All right, give me another one.
Yeah. I like this by Dr. Howard Thurman, who was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer. He said, there's something in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever hear or have. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. Oh, behave.
You're killing me. You're killing me. How do you you got to tell me, how do you remember all this? Do you have a photographic memory? How do you remember? You can quote line and verse. I just have little fragments in my head.
Well, one of the things about success is hunger, but there's something that comes before hunger. You know what that is?
No.
We have to overcome the programming that's already in us. You know, the book Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman. He said, between the ages of 0 and 5, we develop permanent personality characteristics that follow us for the rest of our lives. We are taught, my favorite book says, forgetting those things which are behind, reaching forth unto those things which are before, we press toward the mark of the higher calling. However, there's a movie that I love called Magnolia, starring Tom Cruise. And there's a line in there that says, we might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us. So part of what we have to do as entrepreneurs and individuals, be ye not conformed to this world. We have to overpower the programming that we've received by the world and still receiving it. And people who are successful, just like you, just like Jim Rohn, just like Tony and all the people we know, they saturate their minds with motivational messages. They saturate their minds. They restructure, they retrain their thinking. Because once you change a person's mindset, that changes how they feel. And once you change how a person feels, now that will inspire them to act differently. I encourage everybody listening, go online and listen to and watch 21 days straight. These three things will change your life. Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, number one. Number two, getting unstuck. The other one, it's possible. And the other one, you deserve. If you watch those every day, when I gave those speeches, that's when I went from working and earning $80,000 a year to earning over $1 million, $1.2 million in 3 years. Why? Because as a man thinketh, so is he. And as he continues to think, so he remains. So we have to saturate our mind. And by doing that, that will ignite a hunger in us to go after our goals and our dreams.
Now, we're going to talk about network marketing in just a moment, but I want to talk about this idea of saturation.
Yes.
And I've heard people talk about it different ways. Like some have talked about it almost like an obsession. It's almost on that level. Total all in, total immersion is another term.
You're absolutely right. You have to saturate your mind. I drilled myself when I decided to speak. I disciplined myself to read 30 to 40 pages every day, and I memorized a minimum of 5 quotes a day. I spoke for T.D. Jakes at a Manpower conference. Somebody counted the quotes. I did over 200, and I never repeated myself. And so you're right. You have to saturate your mind. You have to immerse yourself. And the value of that as multi-level marketing people, as business people, that your business has a story and you are the storyteller. And the best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest. That's the value of quotes.
I watched an online course from Steve Martin talking about comedy. And in part of that, he talked about, you want to be a good comedian? He said, good comedians think about it all the time. They're friends. They talk about it all the time. They are constantly collecting ideas, and they're looking for little snippets here and there. Jerry Seinfeld has a collection of every single joke he's ever written, every single joke he's ever told is all archived, every single one. Joan Rivers did the same thing. Us as influencers, and when I say us, I'm talking about this whole community that's watching this around the world. If we immerse ourselves in greatness and in inspiration, and we equip ourselves to be able to empower another human being in a positive way, like you've done so incredibly well, you do it so effortlessly. My gosh, every time I got to go do a talk, I got to remind myself what I talked about last time. I'm just like, you're on another level.
No, but here's something that I tell people. I spent a day with Maya Angelou. She said she becomes aggravated when people say that she was a gifted communicator. She said, show me a gifted surgeon.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
You got to spend time with Maya Angelou.
She had a photographic memory. I challenged her. And there's a quote that I learned from a guy when I was operating a nightclub in Columbus, Ohio. He was an alcoholic, and I wondered why the partner that I had always entertained this guy. And he said, Les, you need to talk to this guy. This guy is brilliant. And he said a quote that I'll never forget. I said, many a flower has bloomed unceasingly and wasted sweetness upon the cold desert air. And then Maya Angelou, she finished it. She says, that's the soliloquy of a man standing in a cemetery. And I said, wow. And she said, what he meant was that many are talented and gifted persons have gone unnoticed, and the world never had a chance to be exposed to their genius. I was floored. She talked about people that she had met and talked with. She told me the color of the clothes they wore, the color of their socks. When she met with Langston Hughes and James Baldwin, it was a phenomenal time in my life. One of the most blessed days I've ever had. She's
talk
incredible.
To me about you talk about that same subject before, and it inspired me. And tell the people about your dreams coming to you when you're on your deathbed.
That's Dr. Howard Thurman. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the gifts given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never used those gifts. You never wrote that book. We never heard your voice. And there they are standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. The question is, if you died today, what dreams? What ideas, what innovation, what leadership, what book, what music, what art will die with you? Miles Monroe said the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. Oh, I can go there if you want me to.
Man. And it's so true. I mean, we only have so much time, time is.
I have got to jump in here. You are right. A friend of mine named Melody Cole, she got married 3 weeks ago. So I have been looking for a wedding gift for her. And then I get a call 3 days ago that Melody, who just got married 3 weeks ago, who's in her early 40s, she was suffering from stomach cramps and she died. She was a very gifted jazz pianist. She produced an album called The Simply Sacred. And so what you said, we have an expiration date. I remember being at a table in Vegas with Frank Sinatra, and Gladys and I were married at that time. And he said, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. And so now I'm encouraging people, live like you're going to die, because you are. And we don't know the day or the time or the hour. And so we want to live full and to die empty. And I believe that's what your platform has been about, and helping people to live in the present and do what they're going to do now. A.L. Williams said, all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough, but make sure you do all you could do. Oh, behave.
Les, I mean, my gosh, the stories are amazing. The life experience is amazing. What I'd like to do, we got about 17 minutes left in our hour of power, our Sunday sermon. I hope people are getting a spiritual awakening here. That's my goal. That's my purpose with these conversations on these Sundays, is talk to people connected to this and they're watching this. And there's going to be a lot of people watching this around the world. I hope this becomes widely shared. I hope it's seen by 1 million people, but certainly going to be seen by multiple 6 figures of people in the very near future. And many of them are involved or are curious or are looking to get re-engaged with the network marketing profession. And some people have an inferiority complex about network marketing because it's misunderstood. And for years, people have kind of overstated how easy it is, and they've overstated the product. They've overstated the how fast and how simple and all this stuff. And entrepreneurship is hard work, like anything. And the profession itself is growing up. But that's my opinion. You're a global thought leader. I would like you to just share with this audience your opinion of the network marketing profession and what a person can make of it.
Well, I would prefer to call it interactive distribution. People interacting to distribute products and services. And as we look at ourselves, according to the Department of Labor, every month over 20,000 people are losing their jobs. Every month. In less than 10 years, the majority of the jobs in this country and around the world will be done by artificial intelligence, will be done by robots or some app that will be created. And so at this time, the one area that robots cannot replace. I was speaking to an audience the other day, and I held up an iPhone and I said, Siri, tell me a story that can inspire me, something that you've experienced, that you've gone through, that can give me some hope that I can deal with what I'm facing. And Siri said, I can't do that. I said, yeah. Because Siri is as knowledgeable as Siri is. Siri doesn't have a story. Everybody in multi-level marketing or interactive distribution, you have a story. And now when you have a product and you have an opportunity, what we call belly-to-belly communication and contact, and you have the ability to create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, the main thing that multi-level marketing did for me, one, it was focused on self-development. It changed my mindset. I went from thinking from 9 to 5 to 5 until you faint, all right? You become an entrepreneur. And the next thing is that it taught me the value of creating collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. 72% of corporations are striking partnerships. Why? Because you can't make it by yourself. And the other thing is, it increases your skill set, your ability to communicate. Mr. Leroy Washington's taught me, he said, Mr. Brown, invest in your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And so when you can influence and impact people, then you can create residual income, non-performance income, global income. And now you become a person that you didn't even know that you had it within yourself to be. But when you show up to a job every day doing the same thing from 9 to 5, that's below your pay grade, that's below your intelligence. My granddaughter called me the other day, and I said, how you doing, baby? And I can tell she'd been crying. She said, Grandpa, I can't stand this job. My boss is getting on my last nerve. And she said, I hate this job. I said, then why are you still there? She said, it pays the bills. And I said, I know. I said, but you won't be there long, because she knows, being my granddaughter, you were not born to work for a living, but to live your making. And living your making will make your living. I said, baby, this too shall pass. Do what you have to do now so you can do what you get to do later. And so now she's becoming involved in multi-level marketing. She went to fashion school, and the skills that she's developed just being in the organization, she can use her skills in so many other ways because of the strategic relationships. And one of the most important things that happens in multi-level marketing, that you develop relationship capital. Just like you and I, in the time that we've known each other, you're exposing me to an audience that I don't know, an audience that otherwise I would not be able to reach and to connect with. That's relationship capital. People that can enhance you, that can empower you, that can enrich you. And that happened to me with Jim Rohn, with Bill Bailey, with Glenn Turner, and all of the other greats that I have the opportunity to sit in a room and listen to them and act on the things that they shared with me. And why is it important that we develop our minds? Because it changes how you feel. And when you feel confident, when you feel that I can conquer the world, that changes your behavior. And I encourage everybody that's listening, you want to be a part of something that contributes to your growth and development mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually, and that will help you to create the next greatest version of yourself. You have something special. You have greatness in you, and MLM will bring that greatness out. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Give people some advice as to how they should deal with the haters that are out there that are giving them a hard time about being involved in network marketing and are not understanding what's going on with this space. What advice do you have?
Also good advice. Number one, what people think of you is none of your spiritual business. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's lonely at the top. Be with that. It's lonely at the top, but you eat better. Let me tell you, the people that told me there's no way, Les Brown, that you're going to be able to get AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM, Xerox to hire you You don't have any college education. You have no corporate experience. Hey, nobody's going to pay you to do something that you've never done, to train people how to do something that you have no experience in. You have no credentials. Here's what I know. My mother used to say this. She said, opinions are just like behinds. Everybody's got one. So let me tell you, if I had listened to them, I would have never, and I don't say this to impress you, I spoke at the seminar of the century with T. Harv Eker. If I had listened to the haters, I would have never earned over $410,000 in an hour and a half. Had I listened to them, I'd have never spoke to over 80,000 people in the Georgia Dome. You don't know what you can do. There are things that you can do that eye has not seen. Just because you can't see it does not matter. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. If you commit yourself, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. All thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Don't look to the right. Don't look to the left. Keep thine eyes single. Don't worry about what people say. There's never been a statue erected to a critic. Never. Trust me on this. Listen to your heart. I didn't do what I'm doing now, and I'm embarrassed to say, for 14 years, because I listened to the critics and I listened to my internal critic. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. However, I'll never forget, I was at a Bob Proctor event, and a guy was speaking, and he said, you know what? He stopped. He said, there's somebody sitting in the audience who should be up here holding this microphone, doing what I'm doing. He said, I love to make money, but you like to change people's lives. Then he went on and started talking again. He stopped. He said, hey, you know who you are? I'm living your dream. You're sitting out there because you don't think you have what it takes. Let me say this to you. The reason I'm standing out here and you're seated out there, I represent the thoughts you have rejected for yourself. I said, oh God, I got up. At that time, you could make a call for a time. I went outside and I called Mike Williams. Mike has been my strategist. He wrote the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. I encourage all of you to get it. You get it on Amazon, The Road to Your Best Stuff. I said, Mike. He said, Brownie, what's happening? Take it easy. I said, Mike, do you hear me? He said, yes, Brownie, what's happening? I said, I'm not rejecting myself anymore. Do you hear me, Mike? Mike, do you hear me? I'm not rejecting myself anymore. I want you to come and help me. I'm ready to speak, Mike. I'm ready to speak. Brownie, I know, Mike. My mother has breast cancer, and I'm going to take care of her. And I promised her. And I got to do this. A job can't do it for me. He said, Brownie, got through it, and I'm grateful for people like you, for Jim Rohn, for Brian Tracy, Dr. Dennis Waitley. I mean, I've listened to these guys over the years to train my thinking. Zig Ziglar, Charlie Tremendous Jones, Tony Robbins, who's the number one speaker on the planet. All of these people have spoken to my life and my children's life, and I'm so grateful.
Well, I'm grateful for you, my friend. I'll tell you what, the ability for you, you talked about having these defining moments, and you're so good at describing these defining moments. And I've had a lot of those too, these defining moments. You talk about these different moments of decision. What I'd like to talk about for a moment, because there's some people out there right now that are struggling, that are having a bad day, having a bad time, having a bad season in their life. And your life hasn't always been laughs and fun and pure joy. You've had some big, because you play big, and sometimes when you play big, you hurt big.
One of the things I brought to the personal development area that no one talked about, including in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, I talk about the fact that it's hard. That is hard. That life's going to kick your butt. As I speak to you now, the Cleveland Clinic, where I will be tomorrow, they've identified and said, Mr. Brown, cancer's eating 40% of your T1 vertebrae. I said, I know that. However, sir, the MRI that came back says eating 40% of your T1 vertebrae, it is metastasized to your second and your third vertebrae and to the C7. It's metastasized to 7 areas of your body. He said, why are you smiling? Did you hear what I just said? I said, yes, I did. I said, 7 is my lucky number. I'm one of 7 children. I was born February the 17th. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. He looked at me and walked out the room. Let me tell you something. You're going to have stuff. You're going to have stuff. The doctor looked at me and said, you have cancer. 3 most feared word in 7 different languages. I said, can you give me a second opinion? He said, yes, and you're ugly too. I'm sorry. Oh, behave. My medication ran off. Okay, I'm going to be good. Okay, so the thing is, you're going to always have stuff. There's nothing worse than being broke and being ugly too. It's awful, That's why I don't blow my horn at people for fear that they might be broke and ugly. Okay? So the thing is this, if you are breathing, if you are still here, you got a shot. You got a shot. I'm telling you, man, I've had some times in my life, I want to say, God, can you give me a break? They said, I felt like Mother Teresa. She said, just when I thought I had a handle on life, the handle broke. You said, Lord, I know you know how much I can bear. I just wish you didn't have so much confidence in me. And so, man, I've had so much stuff happen to me. I was called on Jesus, Yahweh, Allah, Melchizedek. I was chanting Nomi Yoho Rege Kyo. Oh, God, on everybody. Can anybody hear me? Oh, man. And it's called life. It's called life. And I believe, in spite of that, you're more than a conqueror. In spite of that, greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. In spite of that, know ye not that ye are the temple of God and the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. In spite of that, you're greater than your circumstances and anything that you are going through. I think that some things happen to us and some things happen for us, and that we're more than capable to rise to the occasions because we are more than a conqueror. And we have the power to transform our lives at any given moment.
I love it so much. We have 2 minutes left, Les.
Okay.
And you've given so much value. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad you took the time. This is kind of my vision for these power hours on Sundays, is to spiritually fill you up, inspire you, provide you with some wisdom. And Mr. Les Brown is better than anybody I know at that. If you're getting value, before I let Les have the last 2 minutes and have the last word, if you received value here, pay it forward. Share this with somebody else. Tag somebody in the comments. Put your notes into the comments. Give some hearts and some likes, whether you're watching live or watching replay. Les and I will look through this and take a look, and there's almost 6,000 comments at the moment while we're doing this live. And there's going to be much more than that. But pay it forward. Somebody else needs to hear. When you think about all the stuff he's shared so far, who needs to hear what he's said so far and care enough about them to share this with them? So let's take the last 2-3 minutes look these people in the eye and give them a message to end our session with?
Well, I'd like to say to you that you have something special. I don't know you. I can't see you. But based upon my personal experience, what I've gone through, being labeled educable mentally retarded, if my birth parents came in here right now, I would not know either one. Being adopted, being born in an abandoned building on a floor, failing twice in school, no college training. Because of things I've experienced, I can say to you that you have something special. You have greatness in you. God chose you out of 400 million sperm. You were created on purpose, with a purpose. It's been said the most important part of our lives, the day that we're born and the day we realize why we were born. You're here for a reason. And there's something that you have that if you don't leave it, the world will be deprived. You are a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. And I'd like for those of you who have a story to tell, if you'd like for me to teach you how to tell that story, just email me, trainwithlesbrown.com. Is that it?
Train with Les Brown.
Trainwithlesbrown.com? Are you sure?
Positive.
You better double check it. Trainwithlesbrown.com. I'm looking for, and this is important to me, this is going to be my legacy. When I was in the hospital, I prayed and said, if I had 6 months to live, and I believe I have more years, what would I love to do? My goal, Eric, is to train people how to change the world. I believe that evil and violence exist not because too a few people are violent, but the evil prevails because too many people are silent. And we need more voices of hope. So my goal is to train 777 voices of hope. 777. Why? Because 7 is my lucky number. My phone number is 702. 7 is my lucky number. Okay, so I'd like to leave this with you. I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what you want to do. I'd like to invite you to go to our website, lesbrown.com. But my mother loved this. Mama was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. I bought her 4 different homes and took care of her before she left here at 89. She was an incredible woman. And says simply this: as you think about your goals and your dreams and building your business, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish or gold, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it. You have something special. You have greatness in you. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Eric Worre's pride and joy. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you gotten value from this. You can find Les on Facebook. You can find him at lesbrown.com. He's a living legend, and this last hour has proven why. If you care about people, share this. Just know that both Les and myself believe in you, that
Yes.
you have the ability to go to the top.
I want to correct this. Have them email me today at LesBrown77 if they would like for me to coach them to tell their story.
LesBrown77
at gmail.com. Yes.
You ready for a flood, huh?
Well, let's see if anybody hungry to tell their story. Right. I want some hungry people. I don't want anybody. I want some hungry people up in there.
777. That would be a great thing.
Yes,
thank you for your contribution today. I really appreciate it. And if you got value from this, let me know in the comments if you'd like us to bring Les back and maybe do an hour of question and answers live with the audience where you guys can ask him questions, have him give you some life coaching. If you're interested in that, go ahead and throw that into the comments below that says, I'm interested in that. Please bring Les back, and we'll do it. Okay? Everybody have a spectacular day. I'm going to go hang out with my granddaughter. And Les, have an amazing day. I know you have an appointment tomorrow. I hope it's a blessed one. Know that I'm praying for you and your entire family. I love you, man.
I appreciate you. Love you and appreciate you very much. Take care, my brother.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.